I get more of a buzz sometimes out of a £5 car than a £250 car. It just needs to be something that doesn't really get seen, that's got character. Whether that's like a weird colour, like a weird interior combination. Like I love detail, like love detail. Just certain small things, it's hard to pinpoint it, but there's just some cars I get in the smell when you get in and you just think, oh, yeah, this feels special. My name's Dan Tranter and I'm the founder of DT Performance Cars. People always say like, oh, what, can you teach me how to buy the cars you buy? There's something in my stomach when I get to buy a car that is just, it either says yes, buy it, or it's screaming out no, and I can't even pinpoint what it is sometimes, but it's all on gut feeling.
Dan's gut serves him extremely well, and it's not something that can be taught, but it's something that I'm trying to look inwards and try and trust my own judgment more. My name's Tom. I work for DT Performance Cars as the sales director. How long have I known Dan? A very, very long time. Almost since birth, strangely. So yeah, 35 years.
Went to university, had this picture in my head that I was going to be wearing a suit, have a briefcase, working in the city as a marketing executive, like just something with executive on the end. The main reason I wanted a big job in the city was to earn plenty of money to be able to buy all the cars I wanted to own. I took a right punt. It was when the company hadn't been going long, and I took a 50 grand personal loan out to put into the company. And I bought a yellow manual V10 Gallardo. And I remember the buzz picking that up.
It had always been one of these aspirational things and almost showing him off as a friend to other people in the industry. So it was just having that, wanting to be associated with something that was so good and making things even better.
I'd used my student loan to buy a couple of cheaper cars to make a bit of money on, and ended up meeting a car dealer in Hinckley, which was my hometown. Traded in a car against a car he had in stock, ended up making money on the car I bought off him at retail, and he lost money on the car I part exchanged in, and I think it sort of impressed him that, the skill I'd had for buying and selling cars. And he asked if I wanted to start doing what I was doing sort of as a hobby on the side of uni, if I fancied playing with his money and doing the same thing. It just went better than expected, and sort of ended up at the time thinking like, yeah, why go off to the city and do this when I can buy a few cars and enjoy myself anyway in my hometown.
I always knew that I was going to work with cars. I think that was a given, really. I think at one point in my life I thought I was going to end up fixing them. What had always been amazing for me was how Dan had done things from day one. He'd grown in such a fast pace, really. Started off his drive, got to a premises, then another, and then obviously bought here in a few short years. So what attracted me to DT was that, wanting to be a part of it and extending my skills and blending them with Dan's.
I've always got that burning desire just to find, constant excitement of finding a really special car. Before I set up on my own, and I did 5 years or so at another dealer, sort of fell into buying Porsches, mainly because there seemed to be a really good margin. 997 Generation 1 Porsches had some really good margins out of them, but that was 15 years ago. And that's what I sort of ended up specialising in. Even though I wasn't that into Porsches myself, I'd owned a 996 turbo by then, manual, 600 horsepower, but it was the sort of 997 Carrera and Carrera S's that we ended up doing really well on. I'm very particular about what cars I like, and I think it was never about the money or anything, or even necessarily about having my own business. It was more just I wanted to be able to buy the cars that really interested me, cars that I wanted to own myself and experience myself. And I've got quite an eclectic mix of cars that I want to own. A lot of people said I was crazy when I did it, but obviously we bought the BAC Mono, I think, just coming into the winter, and I was just like, I'm going to drive this back. Like, I don't want to end up not having a go before it sells, so I drove it back from Shrewsbury in rush hour traffic, which got a lot of looks.
Coming out of the main dealer industry, what I thought I was going to be able to bring to DT was essentially a skill set mirrorable from a main dealer. So Dan had never really focused an awful lot on finance commission and finance penetration, i.e. the percentage that we sell cars on finance and the extras and all those kind of things. If I went back to a main dealer thing, you would have a very set structure of things to appraise, and you would go, okay, well, that doesn't meet that and that, so it's not a car we can buy, it's not a car we can sell. So on the flip side of that, we have then bought a lot of cars that on the face of it look like you think that's not savable, but actually because we've done so many restoration work and everything both cosmetic and mechanical, you can turn them around.
The number of people I've had where when they've sold their cars, they've got emotional selling them. It's been, yeah, it hasn't been like a lot of the time the cars we buy and sell, it's not a material thing. There's always a lot of meaning between them, whether they're buying or selling them. I never wanted to do big volume, but we did do, again, it's not going to seem like big volume to a lot of other car dealers, but we were doing like 25 to 30 cars some month during COVID because it was just, there was that much demand. And that's when I realised that, yeah, I don't want to sell this many cars. I mean, now, ideally, I only like to sell 8 to 10 cars, like 12 max a month, because we really like to be able to focus on each car and just go, yeah, over the top on detailing them cosmetically and mechanically. And I want to get a chance to have a go in and experience each car. If we've got 30 cars in, I can't do that. Like, I want to, every car that's in here, I want to experience.
The first car I ever sold was a solid red Audi R8 V8 manual with a carbon fibre exterior pack, an aftermarket wing, Miltech exhaust. I'll never forget it. It came from Jenny, and we sold it to a guy called Dave that lived in Kings Wynford. And it was an absolutely sensational car. Believe it or not, even though I was, car mad, I'd actually never sat or driven an R8 up until that point. So within the first week, being able to sit in it, touch it, feel it, drive it, and then sell it was pretty amazing. So for me, that was just absolutely bloody fantastic.
I just buy on my taste. I just go on the basis that there's got to be other people out there with a similar taste to me. There might not be loads of them with the same taste, but there's definitely other people. Like a lot of my best customers, if I really like something, they will just buy it based on that. If there's something I do want to keep, I can't tell my customers how much I love it, otherwise they'll want it.
A polished turd is something that we see in this industry quite often. Doing the kind of cars that we do, things like TVRs, Lotus and things like that, you can quite often have where someone has made the car look fantastic with paintwork, wheels, all the touch points, all the things that superficially look amazing, but actually when you really become skilled and hone in on the things that are incredibly important on cars like that, particularly TVRs, all of a sudden you can have a car hiding a whole host of issues. If you're going to buy the right car for the right price and it has to be right, then ultimately the things that matter to you need to be relevant, or the car needs to be relevant to that. So if you're going to go and look at a car that's 20 years old and you're happy to have a little bit of a project and everything else, then that just needs to be subjective to what your capabilities are and what money you want to spend. So if you're not comfortable with something when you see it on the face of things, if your gut is telling you not to buy it, if there's rust in a place you don't understand, if there's a sound that you don't recognise, if you don't trust the person selling it, don't buy it. But if there's something where you go, I'm not sure, and actually I think I could turn that round and I have got some budget left, or I can tweak the price, then don't write it off unnecessarily.
When we sell a car 6 months post sale, we've got to guarantee that. A lot of the stuff we buy now is very niche. Some cars I'll carry in stock for 2 years. Obviously there's an element of risk in holding it in stock for 2 years, a cost of funds, so to say. Even though the business has got the funds to buy it, it's still, that money could be making money elsewhere. But what I always say is that we're very fair in what we offer. We take a lot into consideration. Most of the cars we buy are cars that other dealers will only want to sell on consignment because they don't want the risks of the things I've just mentioned. Whereas our offer is an outright offer to turn up, buy the car, pay the money in your account, and that's it, done and dusted. It's not the same as a sale or return figure that we hear from sometimes from customers where you're leaving your car, you might not get the money for 6 months, and customers have been left out of pocket. They've not only lost the car, they've lost the money. There's some sale or return dealers that really do the job well that we work with, but there is also a lot of sharks in the industry. They're not making cars like they used to. Like everything's going electric, hybrid, like these really raw analog V8, V10, V12 manual transmission cars. You just can't buy them. We don't really sell stuff that people are buying as a material thing to show off. A lot of the cars we sell, it's something that a car that really means something to them.
I don't think either of us want the business to grow in terms of a size. We don't want to have, loads more people. We don't want to sell loads more cars. For me, it's got to be what it is now, but in a even more refined and slicker way.
Yeah, when I look back at see where it's come from selling off the driveway to having this place, and I don't want to get any bigger. It's now a case of really just trying to perfect every element of it.